Hi, my name's Jo and this is Cotton and Fluff. Thank you so much for coming back if you are a regular viewer, and also welcome if you are a new subscriber. It's lovely to have you here, it really is. I am a beginner dressmaker, sewist, whatever you want to call me. I am discovering new patterns every day, and then I talk about what I've been sewing, how I found the pattern and the instructions and the tutorials and everything that goes with it, and just let you know all about it and how I got on, and hopefully give you some inspiration if you are new like myself. I think it's so lovely to be able to work together with other people because it can be a solitary hobby. I mean, I'm lucky I've got my four-legged friends who join me in my sewing studio, so that's lovely. But it is nice as well to share your passion and also discuss patterns and things in this lovely community of sewists, which I have recently discovered. So I want to go over what I've been doing, what I plan to do, and how I've got over some hiccups. So first of all, I am wearing this. I love this fabric. This fabric is a viscose and it was from Dalston Mill. Yes, and I just thought it was just so pretty. And I've struggled with viscose because I found it quite slippy, but this is lovely and drapey, and as long as I used enough pins, it didn't go slip sliding all over the place, and you just take it slowly. I think it's just doing every step very carefully, and then you can look back and see how far you've come along when you're sewing, just making sure you use pins all the way along and just take it steady. So yeah, this is the Stevie top, Tilly in the Buttons, one of my favorite patterns because you've got lots of options with it. You can do it in heavier weight fabrics for the autumn, winter, with a t-shirt or something underneath, long sleeve top. I've made this one here, and also recently I made a lovely cotton one. I think it was a Nerida Hanson. That was from Dalston Mill too. I will pop some pictures up of that one. That one I did, instead of using, because at the back of the Stevie top you've got a tie neck. Now that's fine and I do love that, but sometimes when you're sitting down, maybe relaxing on the sofa, you can feel the depending on the fabric, you can feel the bow, the tie into your back a little bit. So I changed that, and sometimes I would do it with a button and a loop, and that's quite nice. So that it gives you different options with that pattern, and it's fab. So if you haven't looked at that one, definitely have a look, because it's going to be one that you reach for, and it is a very good confidence builder because it comes together very quickly, and it will soon really, it just, I don't know, it just holds your hand with all Tilly in the Button patterns, it holds your hand all the way through, and then you are left with a fabulous piece of sewing at the end of it. So do check that out, Tilly in the Buttons, if you haven't looked at them before. So what have I been doing? So talking of hiccups along the way, in my last video I talked about the Sydney dress by Stylark, and it's a cocoon shaped dress, pictures to come up on the side here, and I just love the design. I love the shape of it. I love the top, I love the skirt, and I thought, yeah, it'd be lovely for the summer, nice and cool, or even maybe later on with slightly heavier weight, not too heavy because you're going to lose that voluptuous shape to the dress. And I made it in some lovely cotton poplin that I was gifted, and I love the design. I made it and I looked like a big family tent. It was much too big. I did pop a video up here and some photos of it, and clearly it was too big. Now I had lots of lovely suggestions from people about what I should do. Somebody had said changing things at the back or replacing a panel, and then somebody said, well, if it's that big, why not unpick and start again? So that's what I did. It took me a good 2 days. Okay, that was picking it up and putting it down, because I'd overlocked everything and it was all completely finished. top tip, always try on your garment as you sew to make sure you don't make the same mistake as myself. So I unpicked everything. It is all panels, so you have got lots of seams there. So I had to unpick all the overlock and all of the stitching, and then as soon as I'd done that, I laid all those pattern pieces out and I laid on top the pattern. Now I looked again at the measurements and I thought, right, I'm going to go down 2 sizes. So I went down to a size 8 and I had, so that's down 2 sizes. So I knew then I would have a bit of a margin on my pattern pieces. So I retraced everything out, cut it out, popped it all together, and then started sewing. And I did try it on as I went, and this is going well. Overlocked it, and ta-da! I think it is a dress that I could wear. So these are some new pictures I've taken of me wearing the dress, and I really do like the shape. Now this one, slightly different to the other one. I didn't put the pockets in. I think I was losing the will to live a little bit, and I just wanted to move on with something. So no pockets, but it's still lovely. A really nice, cool summer dress, and I am very pleased. I will revisit the pattern, maybe with some slightly heavier weight fabric, obviously in the new size 8 that I know is going to suit me, suit my body shape. So I am pleased that that is all done, dusted, and I haven't wasted that fabric. So I've now got a properly fitting dress. Okay, so that was that one. And then I was thinking, and I've been looking up on my pile, and I had some jersey fabric, and it's been sitting there for a while because it's in a brown and it's got some flowers on it. And I thought, what haven't I done for a while? What can I use? And I thought, right, I need some sort of nice some transitional pieces, some tops, with some long sleeves, but not too thick, not too heavy. So I decided, I went through my patterns and I pulled out the Nora top. And as you can see in the picture here, it's got long sleeves, quite loose fitting. Now I had made this before. One thing I found was the sleeves were exceptionally long. And because they are quite a loose arm, I just felt as if it wasn't finished, it just wasn't me. So what I did on this pattern for this one, I made it shorter, and I also slightly tapered the arm in towards the cuff just to get rid of that, the bulk of that extra sort of almost shapeless fabric, and I think it's come out okay. So this is the little the Nora top here. So this is the fabric I had, and it's lovely. It's a cotton jersey, this one. I think this was from Penny's Fabrics on Facebook. And as you can see, so I have shortened it and I have taken it in, I will pop a picture up in a moment of me wearing it, and I like the hem, and it's come together really well. Now with the jersey fabrics, they do sew very well, put my teeth in, on your overlocker. Now if you haven't got an overlocker, it doesn't matter. I didn't have one only up until recently, so you can use your zigzag stitch on your machine as well. So you can have a look at have a little bit of play on the edge of some fabric, just so you get the feel for the fabric before you go ahead and cut everything else out. Just make sure you're comfortable by doing those zigzag stitches on the end. Lots of practice. Okay, overlockers are good because they are quicker and they are nothing to be scared of. I was petrified of an overlocker, and then I took the plunge and it sat on the side, not turned on, for a couple of months. And then I thought, this, you know, what's the point? I need to try it. So I did. And it was a bit scary because I felt as if I was going to chew up all my fabric. You don't do that. You have got a blade which will trim off your edge, and then you've got your needles. You've got 2 needles in there, and you've got 4 overlocker threads, and they work together all together to neaten your edge and bring it all together. So, but you have to, I feel you've got to have a play with some fabric, some fabric scraps if you've got some, and just have a play with it. You can't break it, and it isn't as scary as it seems. It's quite loud, well mine is. I've got a Brother, which one is mine? I've got the Brother 734DS. So that's a sort of a mid-range one, so it wasn't an expensive one, but yeah, I do use it a lot, and it's definitely not scary, so give it a go, or if you're thinking about taking the plunge. Okay, so moving on from my Nora top, so I made that in this nice sort of, and it is quite a warm jersey. I wanted to make something that I could have in my wardrobe as a staple piece to transition from late summer into the beginning of, dare I say, autumn. Hopefully we're not going to get that yet, but I wanted to be prepared, and I wanted to have a nice pattern under my belt ready for me to sew all those slightly different fabrics, some slightly warmer fabrics, maybe some corduroy, maybe some heavier linen. So yes, so anyway, I had a look online and I found this the Simi skirt by Tammy Handmade. You may have seen it. So I had a look, and I'm just going to get you up I bought it and downloaded it as a PDF. So what Tammy says is the Simi skirt is the classic mini skirt sewing pattern that will keep you reaching in your wardrobe. The A-line shaped skirt features back waist darts, playful patch pockets, and a chic button front for an easy to sew closure. It's perfect for beginners and for intermediate sewists looking for a satisfying sew that you'll get lots of wear out of, and that is very true. It will as you know, she always explains everything, Tammy. She's got a very good, her voice is calm, nothing seems to get her in a flap or anything if anything's happened, and she will just talk you through everything. And she's just got a lovely manner, she really has. Yeah, and she's popped here with clear beginner friendly instructions. You'll breeze through tricky steps like sewing the skirt facing, button stand, and achieving a professional finish. This size inclusive pattern, it comes in 14 sizes, and it comes into a 6 to a 32, so there's lots of sizes there. The fabric she recommends to make this is medium to heavyweight woven fabrics, cotton, linen, corduroy, denim, canvas, needle cord, or wool. So you've got lots of options there and lots of fabrics that are definitely going to help you. I decided, so I downloaded the PDF, and when I went to print it out, well, to send it off, I realized there aren't that many pieces. So I sent this over to my printer at home, just a basic inkjet printer, and there really wasn't many. I think there was about 8 pieces possibly, so it wasn't a mammoth job to print it out and stick them all together with tape and then cut out your pattern. So the first size I did a size 14, and I did the measurements and I thought, okay, yeah, I think that's going to be perfect. And I followed the letter, everything to the letter. So the seam allowance, she will tell you what seam allowance. Really make sure with any sewing pattern, seam allowance is critical, because if you just go in, this is what I did at the very beginning, I would go in and sew it together. Don't worry about the seam allowance, just keep going, let's get this together. But what happens then, if you don't follow the seam allowance, your fabric is going to be at different sizes, and when you go to put pieces together, you're really going to struggle. So top tip, definitely follow the seam allowance. I will show you, can you get it? I use one of these. So these are the little magnetic sewing guides that just go on your plate, and you can just measure it out. Now what also I use is something from Hayley. Let me see if I can find that as well. I've got one of these, and what this is, it's a little tiny seam guide, and on that you can see all these little holes here. So yeah, this is from Hayley Handmade, and I will pop a link in down below. And I honestly can say I use this every time I am starting a sewing project, and also I make sure I look at it all the time. So if it says on your pattern you want to have a centimetre, okay, so you look on here, you've got all these little holes down here and all down here, and I can see that for 1 centimetre you've got half a centimetre and a 1. You pop this under your needle, and then not with this the knob on the side, turn it so that your needle goes down and through that, now the right hole that corresponds to the size. Press the foot down, and then you've got an edge, and you can see that is where you're going to need to sew. So when I've got that, I either push my seam guide up to it, and then I know, raise the needle, lift the presser foot, take that out, and I know exactly that is my seam allowance, and that is what my fabric is going to align to. Don't push hard into it, otherwise your fabric is going to turn up and you're not going to get a correct seam. Make sure it butts up against that. I absolutely love this, and I use it a lot. It is fantastic, and also so is Hayley's. I'm not linked to anybody, but I'm just saying that's what I use, and I absolutely love it. And anything that is going to help you get fantastic results is a dream. You need that all the time. Okay, so I made sure I followed the seam allowance that Tammy recommended, and my first one I did on because it doesn't use an awful lot of fabric up. So the first skirt I made, now this one unfortunately is a bit big. I made it in a black corduroy, and then you've got 5 buttons down the front, and on the back of your skirt you can see the darts as well, and Tammy explains exactly how to get these, and it really isn't hard. I really didn't think that I would ever be able to sew darts like this into a skirt, but Tammy makes it easy. You've got 2 pockets on the front as well. So that was my first attempt, but it is slightly too big, so that I have to find a new home for that. I then remembered I had some more corduroy, and this colour is beautiful. It's a lovely navy blue royal, and I made this one. Now this is a size 8, and you've got the buttons down the front again, and the pockets. Not very dog friendly this. I got a few dog hairs on this, girls. It's nice to share, not that much. And I haven't made any changes to the length of the skirt, because you can change that, and Tammy does explain in her pattern instructions, if you do want a shorter skirt or longer, she will show you on the pattern where you need to cut and make those adjustments, and it isn't very hard. I'm happy with this length. In the pictures you will see I've got my flip-flops on and no tights. Obviously as I go into the autumn I'll be wearing boots and tights, but I just wanted to get this on just to show you. So please excuse the lily white legs, they don't see the daylight at all. So yeah, and I felt that this came together quickly. There was nothing too tricky because you are guided all the way along. So it's a fantastic lesson into some new elements for you to start getting used to. So it looks at the darts. She helps you with your buttonholes and your button placement. She even supplies a template for your buttons as well. So that's pretty easy. Just to pop down onto your fabric, and she will show you exactly how to do it. It gets you used to making those buttonholes. I had a slight problem where I had to think about something, Now I couldn't understand why a couple of my buttonholes, they were struggling, especially up near the top. And I was getting so frustrated, and I thought, you nit. And what I had done, I hadn't changed my needle. So it was, my poor sewing machine was working on a sort of a universal, I think it was a 75, which is really, it's pretty low. The bigger the needle, the higher the number. So I looked in my needle case, and I had some Schmetz denim needles, and they went right up to 110, I think, in the size. So anyway, I picked 100, changed my needle, nice and sharp, and off I went. It was a dream. So just bear that in mind whenever you start sewing. What needle am I going to need? Because you are going to come unstuck like I did. But luckily I remedied it, changed the needle, and off I went, no problem. So I know I am definitely going to be making some more of these, and I love them. I really do. I love how she just talks you through everything. Oh, I'm really going on, aren't I? But this is definitely one of my favourites, and I think it could be one of your favourites too, especially at this time of year. So yeah, so that is the Simi pattern by Tammy Handmade. Right, next off, a moment, bring it across. I made another Amelia skirt, and before I started to make it, I wanted to make something in a nice autumnal weight style fabric, nothing too light, something with a bit of weight, and that would look good with maybe some brown ankle boots, something like that, as a transitional piece. I've got lots of summer ones, got my ginghams. So this one is here. So this is sort of in an olive green. Pictures are on the screen. Elasticated waist, as with all of Tammy's, and all of the ruffles. Now I possibly could have made this a little bit shorter, but I thought, well, sometimes I've got some brown boots that have got a little bit of a heel, just to sort of lift you up a little bit. So I'm quite happy with this length. I do like a long maxi skirt in the winter, especially when you're layering up different tops and things. But what I did with this one was slightly different, and I'm not sure whether I think I will try again. I decided that I would like to try dyeing some fabric. I was recently in a charity shop, and they had a huge wicker basket full of all the really nice heavy cotton sheets, which is what, I think we used to have on our beds, the big flat sheets, and they were £1 each. So I thought, well, even if it's good to make a twirl, I can use it to go underneath something. I can use it for lots of different projects. So anyway, I picked up 2, and then I thought, right, I'm going to try dyeing it. So I went for a Dylon, and I picked an olive green because that was the colour I wanted to achieve. Fabric was white. Followed the instructions. This is the first time ever I have used a dye. You may have already done that, but I hadn't. This is my first time. Followed all the instructions. I had to wet the fabric first. Now it's quite a lot, so it was almost like maybe 2 meters. So I wet the fabric, as they said, popped it in the machine, popped the drum in, the little tub that goes in there, and set it going. And it was amazing to see the water, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, is this water going to ever become clear? Will I ever be able to wash white clothes in there anymore? Needn't have worried, it was fine. You do have a couple of times you have to go through it, but anyway, it's a nice sunny day, got the fabric out on the line. I thought, yes, this is beautiful. And then I looked and I thought, oh no, it's missed bits. And I think what I had done, I'd put far too much in the machine. It was too much for one of the washing pods. I think you have to make sure you have a specific weight. Sometimes they recommend using 2, I think, or up to 3 you can use. So I just used the 1. So I was so disappointed. I thought, what do I do? It's obviously too much. How am I going to dye this again? And then my husband had a fantastic idea. He said, well, why not make up what you want to make up and then dye that in the machine, and I thought that is such a good idea. So I sewed up the Amelia skirt, and I then popped it back in the machine again, just the skirt with a pod, and it's come out okay. It's not the best. I don't know whether it was because of the colour I chose, but it's fine. It is going to be fine in the winter, with some boots and a coat and whatever, but I can see it is lighter in places. But it was a good practice, and I really wanted to have a go, and I think, do you know what, and I will wear the skirt because I think it looks nice, and I did want something in this colour. I have subsequently ordered some other fabric in a dark sort of olive green, so if I do want to make another one, or maybe some bob pants, then I will definitely give it a go. So yeah, so picture one that is showing is me, and that is just it's a Zara top. That isn't a top that I've made, that I've got on with that today. Okie dokie, so that was the Amelia skirt, and finally I wanted to make some transitional bob pants. I've got some bob pants, but they're all in either a linen or a cotton, some are in a poly cotton, and I wanted something a little bit heavier. So I remembered that I had, a long time ago, got some fabric that I've never used, because I thought, oh, that's a bit heavy, and it's this, and it's like it's a medium weight cotton stroke linen possibly, but it's got some warmth to it. I loved the pink stripes. I thought the pink stripes on the beige background were cool, so that's what I want to do. So these are my next pair of bob pants, and they are so warm. I like the length. I didn't want them too long, and I just think this, between the bob pants and the chanterelles, I don't know which are my favourite. At the moment, I love the bob pants. I really do. You know, so it's horses for courses, really. You know, people, you know, you decide which you prefer. But I think the bob pants suit me, and I suit them. So yeah, really pleased with those. So what have I got coming up? Okay, so talking of dipping my toe into autumn, I wanted to find something, a dress maybe, or something that would be nice to layer, to add different things to it, to change the look. And so I looked, and I've been onto the So Liberated website. Have you been on there yet? Lovely contemporary outfits. I really do like them. So I'm not going to tell you which one I have picked, but I have started cutting out my fabric, and I'm really hoping it goes well because I absolutely love the dress. I'm going to be sharing it all with you in my next video. Yeah, I can't tell. I want to tell you, but I can't tell you. No, I must get this done. As soon as it's done, I'm going to pop some videos up here and tell you all about it. And I'm hoping it's not going to be my first one, because I love the design and how it's been done. That's it. End of story. Okay, so, well, I think that is everything that I've made recently. The weather today has been, well, it was a bit chilly this morning, to be honest. I was quite cold, but they do forecast some sunnier weather later on. So the sun's shining, which is fab. I'm going to carry on with my secret dress to show you. This weekend is a bank holiday weekend here in the UK. I'm filming this on the Friday before the weekend, and I hope to get it up to you online very soon. So just want to say thank you so much for sticking to the end. Super, super kind of you. It's so lovely having you around as well, because It's just such a lovely community, and I love the comments, and I'm so grateful for every comment I get. I really am. So thank you so much. I hope I've given you a little bit of inspiration, and I've updated you on what I've been doing, but hopefully I will see you very soon. Thanks. Bye.